you doing?
It's great, man. We're getting ready to settle the first match at the Barclays World Tour Finals. I've got my co-commentator alongside me, Jason Goodall, and we're pumped.
You're pumped. Okay, so you're at the
No,
Barclays. You say the Barclays Masters now.
yeah, it's called the ATP World Tour Finals. Top
Yeah.
8 guys in the world, of course. So back in the day when you were watching tennis, it was called the Masters, Darren.
Back in the day when I was watching tennis, they never had any Masters at all.
So now we've got the top 8 guys in the world. The first of the matches is about to kick off at 2 o'clock with Thomas Burdick and Stan Wawrinka. So we have 2 groups of 4 players each.
Yeah.
And the guys will go at it. Probably the premier event of the ATP World Tour, and they've probably sold about, it takes 17,500, the stadium here at the O2, and they've sold at least half of the sessions out completely, and the other ones just with bits and pieces to fill. So it really is an incredible event.
All right, just tell us who's there and who Robbie Koenig reckons is the one to beat at the Masters.
Well, the top 8 guys in the world who have finished the season as the top 8 are Nadal, Ferrer, Burdich, and Wawrinka. They're part of one group, and of course in the other group, which is the much tougher group of the two, Darren, is Djokovic, Del Potro, Federer, and Gasquet. And I think Roger's going to struggle to come out of his group. I think in the semis we're probably going to see Djokovic and Del Potro come out of Group B. And Group A, I'm going with Nadal. And I think we're going to have a little bit of an upset. I think Stan Wawrinka might make it out of that group in the semis. But I think Djokovic is the man to beat. Him and Del Potro are playing unbelievable tennis. Indoors, Nadal, even though he's been playing well outdoors on the hard courts this year, I think I'm probably going to go with Del Potro and Djokovic.
Yeah, because and Federer, I think he only just scraped into this thing anyway, didn't he? He had to finish in his previous tournament higher than a certain place to actually make it. Is that right?
Yeah, it's the latest he's ever qualified. I mean, it's the 12th year of qualification for Raj, but it's never taken him this long to make it into the last 8. So, of course, I can't imagine this tournament without him, given how well he's done here, 6-time champion. He says his body's feeling the best it's ever felt. I was listening to his press conference yesterday. You know, he's had troubles with his back this year, Darren, ever since Dubai, which is early on in the year. And it's the first time in his whole career that he's ever had to deal with injury. And I think that's why this year's been a tough one for him. But now he's feeling almost 100%, which is good for everybody, I guess, good for the sport as well.
So we're not looking at maybe the swan song of Federer at this stage, because as time goes on, it was always nip and tuck. It could go either way when it came to people like him and Nadal and then him and Djokovic. They seem to be dominating. Now suddenly Del Potro seems to be getting the better of him every time they play. Is this just because of the injury, or are we starting to see slowly the slide of Federer?
Yes, I think you're right. You know, age is definitely catching up to him. And Del Potro has got the goods, no question about that. I think what happens when a guy starts to kind of fade a little bit and has a bad season, the belief in the locker room grows. That's the big thing. Of course, their games have improved a little bit as well, but it's the belief now when they step on the court with Roger, they actually believe that they can beat him. And as you know, chatting to all great sportsmen, once you have that, anything's possible. And I think that's why we've seen him lose a lot more this year than any other year. And of course, you couple that with the injury, and it's a perfect storm, isn't it?
Yeah, that's why last week I was actually saying to people, I probably stuck a few South African tennis fans away. I was saying now's your best chance to get some good odds on Kevin Anderson when he came up against Federer. As I thought, as you say, he's kind of vulnerable, and everyone lurking anywhere in the top 20, top 30 will probably think we've got a good chance against him. I really thought that Kevin was going to knock him off.
Mm-hmm. Very good point, Darren. But the only thing there, little asterisk, probably beside Kevin playing, it was the first time that Kevin's ever played him. Yeah. And there's always that aura whenever you step on the court against Roger for the first time. So difficult to beat him at the first time of asking because, everything is achieved. You've seen Kevin play so well against the likes of Djokovic and Nadal because he's played them on a couple of occasions, so he knows what to expect. He understands the aura, blah, blah, blah. But it was the first time he had played Roger, and you could see definitely early doors he was very nervous. I mean, once you give those guys a lead, even if they are a bit vulnerable, it's still tough to reel them in.
Yeah. So are you actually saying a player in the top 20 can be starstruck by a Roger Federer when you come up against him the first time?
Oh, 100%. No question about it. I mean, when he played the young gun Grigor Dimitrov in Basel, and everybody's compared Dimitrov to Federer, the way they play, very similar. And he said when he walked on the court for the coin toss, first time that they'd ever played, and it's been hyped up for a long time. When are they going to play? He said he was completely starstruck, by Roger. And even though he's been around the tour for a long time, young up-and-coming player, but I tell you, Roger has an aura around him. And we even see it on social media, Darren, when we commentate, how much more the traffic increases when Federer is playing versus any of the other guys. Even Djokovic now, Nadal now, new world number ones. It's never the same intensity. And, of course, that's why the sport wants him to stick around as long as possible.
Yeah. Well, he certainly is, if not the greatest ever, one of the greats. It's always great to have him around. But, you'll probably get to Wimbledon and say, well, if he's going to maybe sneak another Grand Slam, his last chance now is maybe adding one more Wimbledon. We've seen players before, kind of go into this dip. It happens a lot in tennis and golf, funny enough, where they have that, you think they're on the way down, suddenly it's like that last gasp of breath before the cowboy dies. To try and use a little bit of a thing. They seem to have that last spurt, go and win a big one, then disappear.
Yeah, Cyprus did that, remember, at the US Open. They had a terrible 18 months before he retired and then boom, out of nowhere. It's got to be a special kind of player, though. Obviously, Roger is that. So I'm with you on that one. You can never count him out. A lot of people have written him off, I think, unwisely, when a guy's got this much natural talent, natural ability. He needs things to go his way. He needs a Djokovic to lose, or a Nadal to lose to somebody that they shouldn't lose to. I think it's going to be difficult for him to beat a Djokovic and a Nadal in back-to-back matches, say, at Wimbledon. But if it's only one of them, definitely got a better chance of doing it.
Yeah. Rob, just before we let you go, if people want to sort of catch up on what's happening around there, because, again, tennis, apart from the results pages in newspapers, doesn't really get much exposure over here, apart from what we do on the radio station chatting to you. But if people want to pick up on your commentaries and stuff, is there any online option they could follow and follow you around the circuit, and particularly this week and next week?
Well, sure, yeah. Of course, the SuperSport take all the international feed commentary, so all these matches will be on SuperSport. I think it's 207. And then, of course, tennistv.com has the best websites and live streaming. It costs about $100 a year, but you get everything uninterrupted, no ads, and of course all our commentary goes out on that as well. And the ATP worldtour.com website is very good, and especially this week. The Barclays have put a lot of money into their own website, so we'll be hosting shows on that. There'll be a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff that I'm sure tennis fanatics will enjoy. So I'd probably say those three: tennistv.com, the ATP World Tour website, and this week specifically on the ATP website, they've got a subsection that's been sponsored by Barclays. That's an interactive show for 90 minutes.
Okay. Awesome stuff. So that's where you can catch more of what Robbie does and what's happening at the Barclays Masters. Final one, Simon?
Yeah, well, there's a nice game today, Rob. Thomas Berdych up against Stanislas Wawrinka, so that's a good one.
Yeah, and of course, a little later on this evening, we've got Juan Martín del Potro and Richard Gasquet in action. So, I mean, this is what I love about this tournament, and that's why I recommend it to a lot of South Africans, because it's a straight flight up here to the UK. And you've got the best 8 players in the world. So every match,
yeah, it's an absolute cracker. Yeah.
Fantastic. We look forward to that, and we look forward to chatting to you again soon. Rob, thanks a lot for your time today, and enjoy the commentary and enjoy the tennis.
Thanks, Adias. Thanks, team. And
thank you very much.
Cheers,
Rob.
Much appreciated, guys.
Cheers, Robbie.
Cheers, buddy. Bye-bye. There we go. That's Rob Koenig joining us on Balls Visual Radio. Mix 93.8 FM.
Get that and your other favorite sound clips from balls.co.za now.